Welcome to Duality Gamecast. Today's episode, a discussion of theme versus mechanics.
Hey everybody, welcome to Duality Gamecast. I'm William.
And I'm Matt.
Today we're talking about themes versus mechanics. What's more important, and what do we feel we should do with it? Alright, so we're going to start, talk about a few games that we've already reviewed on the show, give our opinions. So let's start with Dominion. Matt, where does this fall on the scale for you?
Dominion, the granddaddy of deck building games. It always takes the rap for slapped on theme. It's the originator of that term almost. High mechanics, like great, well done mechanics. And that's what sells this game, I think, for 99% of its audience. Has a medieval theme, but that's literally just pretty pictures on cards. It's all about the mechanics.
Yeah, I agree. It did the thing because it was one of the first real deck builders out there. It really focused on making sure the deck building worked and didn't worry so much with the other themes and everything on it. It flows great. They've made, 4 million expansions, something like that for it. Tons of cards, tons of replayability because of it. Yeah, I think that it's all about mechanics, and the theme, I don't even know what the theme is on it, to be honest with you. Let's move on to another one. This other one reviewed, Nothing Personal. Matt, where does this one fall on the board for you?
This one's kind of in the middle for me. It has this gangster power struggle theme, and it has a lot of components that kind of to illustrate that. And it has, some negotiation and backstabbing. In fact, most people that brag about this game, that's what they're talking about, is the backstabbing and that kind of thing. But it's kind of an abstracted gangster power struggle, and I think that hurts the theme to a degree. Still a good game. Still has great art and components that feed into that theme. But I gotta put it in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it has a pyramid power structure system, right? And while that simplifies it from reality, it makes it playable from a game standpoint. I don't think that this game would work as well if you took the mob theme off of it. I mean, you couldn't be like you can't make it about puppies, really, or something like that.
Power struggle, puppies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it still have to be the same basic theme, which is a power struggle and trying to get your guy on top.
Some kind of political.
So the theme definitely works with it, but it's not. There's still a lot of mechanic you're dealing with there. Let's go with another one, Hokkaido.
Hokkaido.
Where does this one fall?
This one is theme first or else. It's all high theme. I mean, the idea is literally just a pleasant journey through Japan. You're sightseeing, and you get points for sightseeing, and you meet tourists or travelers, and you're getting points for meeting them. You're getting points for having nice meals. The system is really bare bones system, where you're just positionally, choosing a spot on the board. There's a little bit of contest sometimes for who gets what spot. But the system's really simple. This game is really much more about the theme. And it has this really beautiful kind of simplistic art style, and that kind of just gives you this nice feeling. And so a high theme for me.
Yeah, I agree, because the mechanics in it really do take a back seat, because since you're just moving along that little track, you're just like, oh, what's the best thing for me? You aren't working out combos, you aren't working out chains of things. You're kind of looking at what you have and going like, well, I think that, completing my picture would be the most important thing for me. I'll go there. That sounds good. And while I kind of said it off the cuff like that, it's enjoyable still. The theme, it's a pleasant journey is what it feels like. So yeah, it's all theme, light mechanic. Let's go with another one of my favorites, Sentinels of the Multiverse. Matt, what's your feelings on this one versus themes versus mechanics?
Again, I think theme is what makes it or breaks it for this game. We reviewed this game pretty early on, and it's not one of my favorite games in the world, but I totally get the theme, and I know that it has this huge following, and I think the theme is why, to a large degree, it has that huge following. It's all about comics, and that comes out through the game in every bit. And so I really appreciate that. So high theme.
I agree, yeah, because it has kind of the same, in a different way, even though it's a completely different game, Dominion, right? It's like Dominion's all about play, action, draw, money, right? Mm-hmm. Sentinels is about extra plays, extra draws are doing damage. You can only do like one card a turn, so it kind of has that same feel about it. But I'd say maybe the game, this is going to get people upset. I mean, maybe the game isn't as well constructed as Dominion in terms of mechanics. There's a little bit of like a gray area, some stuff you can move around in it, but the theme is so powerful in it that it completely makes up for any shortcomings of the possible mechanics or any holes in the rules type of thing. So yeah, I even though like on the surface I would think of them as kind of having similar like mechanics driven through their game, they're on complete opposite ends of the scale. One's a tight running machine, the other one is, hey, look at me, I'm legacy, I'm being awesome, and that's the fun part of it. So yeah, I'd say theme over that one. It may be slightly in the mechanics, but mostly theme. Small World. Here's another one. What do you think about it in terms of that? Is it mechanics? Is it theme?
It's a little both. I think Small World's lure probably brings a lot of people to the table because of its theme. It has this wonderful, lighthearted art style. You know, the tile art, the board art. You know, the races in the game and their abilities that they get matched up with. You know, can really make you smile. Like they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that gets you to the table if you've never played it before for a lot of people. But I think if you want to win this game, it's all about combinations and efficient choices and board placement. And you have to kind of move that theme aside. It doesn't matter. So what if I have zombies? That's not important. What do those zombies do and how do I optimize it? So I'm going to put it in the middle. I think you come in for the theme, stay for the mechanics.
I put it in the middle too, because all the mechanics work on theme. And that's one of the things about it is that the theme, you know, the zombies work how you think a zombie more or less should work. Hobbits kind of work the same way you think hobbits should work. They kind of pop out of nowhere and spread out a little bit and they're protected. All the races and all the classes, whatever the special ability thing on them, are on theme, but they're also all mechanically sound and have their own special. And you're right. So like I'm like, okay, I'm merchant dwarfs. That doesn't sound like a very good combination, but that's not the point. The point is, merchant dwarfs. I feel like a merchant dwarf when I'm picking them. Like their abilities feel like that, but their mechanics are what I'm actually like picking them for, type of a thing. So I think you play it for the mechanics, but you enjoy it for the theme or something like that. So yeah, that's right there in the middle.
Good balance.
Yeah. Okay, so keeping all the games we just looked at in mind, which one's more important? Theme? Mechanics?
There is no easy answer to that. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors, but I want to start by saying a well-made game you will forgive lack of theme more often in, and a well-thought-out theme you will forgive some system issues in. You know, I think we cited some of those in the ones we went over. I will say for me personally, it depends on the type of game. In a co-op, I want a lot of theme. Robinson Crusoe, for me, kind of really oozes the theme, and that keeps that game interesting to me. Ghost Stories, I feel like there's this panicked kung fu thing happening. So that co-op game, the theme is real important for. Pandemic, I felt like a cube pusher, and so it lost me to a large degree. So I think theme for me in co-op games is very important. Flip that, talk about war games. War games with good theme is awesome, but I've played a lot of war games and had a grand old time where the theme was slapped on or even non-existent, like Classic Risk. What's the theme to Classic Risk, other than killing cubes with other cubes?
World domination?
Yeah.
It says it on the box.
Yeah, well, but you don't. So it depends on the type of game for me. Now, I think also it depends on the gamer. Some people are going to be all about theme. Some people are going to want to get to the nuts and bolts of the game.
I agree, yeah, because, I mean, example I can think of is Doctor Who Yahtzee, right? Now, you have your opinions about Yahtzee. It's not my favorite game. It's kind of just, it's one of those, the game plays itself type of a game.
Yahtzee is a mechanic looking for a game.
Yes. You throw Doctor Who on it, and suddenly people get really excited, even when the Doctor Who Yahtzee did not have a lot of Doctor Who theme. How can you theme Yahtzee? But I think that what I feel is that it's awesome if it's 50-50, but I think in most cases you can't completely ignore one without the other, right? Like you can't just, even games that we think of, I guess the closest you can get to that would be like Go. That's the closest game I can think of that has like really solid mechanics. And is there a theme to that game? I mean, you could maybe be like the struggle between light and dark or something like that you can do, but that game has endured for ever. I'm not going to try to guess how long. It's been a long time. There's a lot of zeros on the end of that. Yeah. But it's not something that you see people just like pulling out and playing at your local like game meetups. I think that theme is important for selling a game. Mechanics is important for keeping the game coming to your table, I feel. So I feel like if you completely ignore one, you're up a creek. But I feel like, for me personally, usually mechanics win out. Usually, though, one of my favorite games is Sentinels, and we kind of talked about how like that one's mechanics are okay, but not like super solid tight. But in that game, I'd say like its mechanics are okay, and its theme is really good. So that's what sold it for me. Whereas something that has just really bad mechanics, you can't just play a game like you watch a television show, right? Like you watch a television show and enjoy it for its theme and its stories. You can't play a game in that way. Maybe a role-playing game, you could get around it. So I think, honestly, for me, it's mechanics with theme winning out. If the mechanics are solid enough, theme needs to be out the roof, and then that might push it over the top for me. So mechanics, important. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.
All right, so I just said mechanics are most important to me. I want to know what's most important to you. Is it theme or is it the good choice, mechanics? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click on me. Thanks to all these people for helping us out.
You guys didn't talk about my game.
Sorry, I forgot that I'm the one who's starting this. Okay.